That was a short clip of what kind of targets the Israelis' army targeted in Rafah city where I live. Most of it were civilian targets. It has nothing to do with Hamas or what they call it, war on terror. I'm not here to talk about Hamas, but I'm talking about my experience as a journalist. Those 22 days that the people in my city or in the south, because I was covering the south, it was the most difficult time we ever had. I remember how people were scared, sometimes running the streets when the attacks happened, and how they deal with the situation, moving from place to place. And there is lots of things among all of these difficulties that's happening and the attacks. Sometimes I used to laugh. It's not because I'm happy with what's going on, but because sometimes there is situation make you really want to do something, but you cannot. You want to cry, you want to help, you cannot. So you just say, okay, I'm going to laugh. I cannot do anything, otherwise I'm going to get sick of all of what's going on. So the question that I was asking most of the time for people, and I was waiting an answer, and this is what my film talking about. Why do you think the Israelis army doing this? And I was expecting an answer from the people. So the majority didn't know what to answer. I asked a child from Gaza City, lost her parents. Why do you think this happened? A child, she will answer from her perspective as a child. She said, I think they don't want us to live like them. They don't want to have us. They don't want us to have parents. They want us to live as orphans. She's a child, she lost her parents, so this is the way she was thinking. I asked that man in this video, why do you think the Israelis doing this, the Israelis army, from your perspective? In the beginning he said, I don't know, but then he said, is that all because people elected Hamas? So people themselves are confused why this is happening. 3 years ago when I came to United States, I told myself people in United States are really ignorant. But with the time I realized that people wanted to know about what's going on if they find somebody to talk. I got many questions about the situation in Gaza, but we'll talk about my experience with my house, because people ask me why Palestinians elected Hamas, why people think this is actually happening. One of the things that I believe in 2004, the Israelis army destroyed my family house. Until now, I don't know why. All the things that we heard in the news at that time, they said because of Philadelphia corridor and because of the tunnels. I don't remember that there is any tunnel in our neighborhood. They destroyed all the neighborhood. So I started to join things and connect it in my mind. Where is Hamas of all of that? Hamas is not there. It's 2004, and now they call it war on terror on Hamas. Why they destroyed 15,000 houses in Gaza Strip in 2009? It's just a strategy that the Israeli army have. And this is all what they do. Just keep the people in tiny area called the Gaza Strip under siege, suffer a lot, and don't know what to do. And the more that they tie this life for them, maybe they think to leave. And this is what exactly they think. So making a miserable life for the Palestinians of Gaza Strip, so they leave. And the only exit is Egypt. Some people ask me a question about the wall as well, the Egyptian wall. And one of the people said the wall that the Israelis started before the Egyptian wall, that maybe we'll talk about a little bit. They said the wall started in 2000 after the suicide bombers started their operation in Israel. And I will say it's a wrong answer, because I grew up in Rafah city, it's on the border area. Since I born, I saw that short wall it was like 2 meters tall, or maybe 1 meter 70 centimeters tall. Because I used to go with my parents to our cousins in Egypt, the other side of Rafah city, because we have cousins. After they put that wall and after they put the fence, we split for 2 groups. I have cousins in Rafah, Sinai, and my family still in Rafah, Gaza Strip. So the wall was there. I see the wall every day. But in 2000, it was another strategy of the Israeli army to change that. We want now higher wall. We want to destroy more houses and kick people away of the land. And this is what they did. They destroyed more than 3,000 homes. Still thinking, where is Hamas of all of that in 2004? It was between 2000 to 2004. That what we call the second intifada when it started. For my family, when we built the second house, it was like a relief. Like, oh, now we are settled, we have a new house, everything will be fine. But we just breathed, and then the attacks started in December 27th, 2008. I was with the friends, walking, visiting other friends on the border area, just to make sure that they are okay. And suddenly, I was on the phone talking to a friend. I heard the bombardment in his side, and a few seconds later, I started to hear the bombardment in Rafah city. And I started to tell him, is that happening in your side and my side as well? And then I realized later, that's in all the Gaza Strip. It's not just Gaza, it's not just Rafah. And that's how I ran with my friends to the scene that you saw in the beginning of this clip. People were running, it's still fresh. And I saw the children, how much they scared at that scene. You couldn't do anything for this. People also here in the United States told me that the Israelis left Gaza Strip. No settlers there. Yes, no settlers, but all what's happened inside the Gaza Strip of killing or grabbing lands or keeping the people in a tiny place, it has nothing to do with the settlements or the settlers, but an agenda that the Israeli army have. As a journalist, covering all of that happening in Gaza Strip during cast-led operation, I felt it was too much. I couldn't get any more. And my family couldn't do that as well. I remember my father once when the pharmacy attacked nearby and I wanted to cover the news and I wanted to do something, and then my dad said, no, you cannot go out. It's just happened. Are you crazy? You want to run out? Maybe they bomb it again, because this is what the Israeli army used to do. They bomb the place, and after a few minutes, they attack it again. So that's how the majority of the people kill. They try to help, and then another attack happens, so that's increased how many people kill. So what I did, I jumped from the window, and I said to my dad, that's my work. I cannot stop. So when I jumped from the window, he hugged my camera, and he said, you will not take the camera. But then I had a discussion with him, and then he released the camera and put it aside. So my sister ran and took the camera and gave it to me from another window. So I went and covered the scene.